Yes, good morning. Kumusta na kayo?
Alright, you said kailangan mangibabaw ang katotohanan. And that would be at the expense, essentially, of your brother's approval, the president's approval on how the arrest of former President Duterte was handled. Clearly, you do not believe that he had the power or that was the right manner to do so. Tama ba yun, ma'am?
Masalimuot yung tanong mo. Ano ba yung tanong? Nakikita ko lamang nung tinangay si Presidente Duterte at dinala sa ibang bansa, lahat tayo ay nayanig. Naiyak ako at katulad ng marami, nabigla kung bakit tinangay ang isang Pilipino, matanda na, may sakit, dinala sa ibang bansa. Bakit? Binaliwala na ba yung ating husgado? Wala na bang kakwenta-kwenta lahat ng huwes sa Pilipinas? Wala na bang rule of law sa atin? Talaga bang failed state na tayo na kinakailangan sa ibang bansa? At talagang pinilit ko na magkaroon ng investigasyon dahil responsibilidad to. I'm the chairperson for foreign relations, and it was the first time that we encountered a case, really a case of first impressions to do with the ICC and the Interpol, and I felt obliged to look into it and find out the truth, if only to calm everyone's nerves, everyone's fears and anger that was demonstrated more than amply in the streets. So, wala namang kinalaman sa aking kapatid. Ang nais kong malaman, talagang ano ba nangyari at karapat-dapat ba? Doon naman tayo nagsimula ng investigasyon. At the very start, if you recall in October, when the filing for candidacies began, I already declared I'd be independent of the Alianza and of any other alliance. May masamang kutob ako eh. I had this really bad feeling that horrible things would happen. But I didn't really think it would go this way, that it would actually be this bad. At ayoko yung bardagulan sa politika. Yun lang naisip ko eh. I just turned out because it was Lawag, it's my son, okay lang. Pero hindi ko na sinisiputan lahat. At I basically relied on local friends to campaign. Yun lang. Pero yung investigasyon had to carry on.
Okay, so you brought it before the ombudsman, and the ombudsman acted quickly on your complaint. The ombudsman is asking the personalities to answer the allegations within the days that are required. I wanted to ask you, under what do you believe under Republic Act 9851, no less than Senior Associate Justice Carpio, who, by the way, is not politically aligned with you or President Marcos Jr., says that under RA 9851, the widespread murder or willful killing of civilians is considered a crime against humanity, and therefore the persons arrested may be brought to court before authorities so the president can decide to surrender a Filipino citizen. What do you make, Senator, of RA 9851?
Yes, mahabang diskusyon namin yan sa hearing, and we also involved further experts such as Justice Ascuna, who was part and parcel of the framing of the Constitution. In addition, we also had legal consultants, we had attorneys and constitutional lawyers. Ang dinidiscuss namin yung 9851, particularly Section 17. There's no dispute regarding crimes against humanity, but the dispute revolved around surrender versus extradition. They were claiming that it was surrender. The Secretary of Justice indicated that it was surrender, when in fact the reference in the Interpol sheet was to extradition. Extradition, as we know, has just been ruled upon in a very critical case last year, yung immigration versus Yuenle. Ang dami-daming kondisyon. Mga 8 yata yun na kinakailangan may hatol galing sa local court and so on. And in fact, the surrender that government was claiming is limited only to foreigners. So dapat hindi ginawang surrender katulad katulad ng nangyari kay
But is that right?
Dahil maliwanag naman na Pilipino siya. Kaya hindi dapat sinusurrender ang isang Pilipino.
Okay, but Senator, does RA 9851 state that it's only for foreigners? It doesn't state right here that it's only for foreigners.
Yes, what happened apparently when you investigate the records and the transcript, na tangnagal yung surrender of foreigners. But it's very, very clear in the original draft. It's also there in the discussions. And for some mistake, there's been a failure to include the fact that surrender refers to foreigners. I think this is also constitutionally mandated because Filipinos do have a right guaranteed by the Constitution to live in their own homeland. Yung extradition, kapag magpapalayas ka, napakadaming kondisyon eh. Kaya kinakailangan siguro, yun na, yung in aid of legislation. While we have to give the constitutional mandate to the Ombudsman to punish and investigate erring public officials, the Senate and the Congress can actually amend 9851 so that it's clearer. In fact, the extradition law in the Philippines was written by my dad, so I think I typed it up because I remember it quite clearly, and it's very, very old as well.
Okay, so Senator, to leave this particular topic, clearly it wasn't extradition, pero naniniwala po kayo, lumampas sa kapangyarihan ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang ginawa niya ng pagbigay, pag-surrender kay dating Pangulong Duterte sa The Hague. Nilabag po niya ang batas.
Hindi maliwanag kung sino ang nag-order. Tinatanong nga namin pero sabi nila executive privilege. Tapos, mambandang uli ang sinabi si Secretary of Justice, si Boyeng Remulla, sabi niya siya daw nag-order. So, hindi po maliwanag. Kaya, nahihirapan ako and I'm having a difficult time deriving witnesses because subpoenas have not been signed. Not a single one has been signed by the Senate President. And even the single person we held in contempt. First time ko mag-contempt, hindi ako mahilig niyan eh, ay rinilis ka agad-agad. So sabi ko sa ombudsman na lang tayo umasa pagkat hinaharang itong investigasyon. Mukhang ayaw nilang mabuko at mailabas ang katotohanan. Pero natuwa naman ako sa ombudsman kasi ang issue ay talagang umaksyon agad at hindi nasayang yung panahon ng lahat. Ipinalagay kong nakita ng ombudsman ang kasinungalingan at mga butas sa testimonya at kilos na lumitaw sa 3 pagdinig ng Senate Committee.